Welcome back to the Source Garage. This is the 1-month update for winter protection test number 2. So I put 6 different forms of protection across the side of the truck here. And so what I'm going to do is, I'm going to zoom in and show you all the buildup that's on here right now. We've had salt most of the last month. I think we got probably a foot of snow over the last month a number of different times. So it's definitely gotten pretty beat up, I'd say, from all the stuff on the road. So what I'm going to do here after I zoom in and show you all this is I'm just going to dump water across the panels and see how it reacts with water by itself. Obviously the panel is going to be dirty still. Then I'm going to get some actual body soap and wash down the panel properly, and then repeat the same tests and do some different spraying and see how the hydrophobics are still holding up across the different sections. So here we're zooming in on the panel. You can see all the salt and grime from top to bottom here. Nothing's been done to these after the coatings were applied a month ago. And we've had salt, well, it looks like about 2/3, 3/4 of the way up the panels across the whole length of the truck. So it's definitely been coated the whole way. So let's get some water and dump it on them. So there are 4 different coatings on the front panel here, and I'll put the names on the screen, but Gtechniq C2V3, McKee's Hydro Blue SiO2, Soft 99 fusso coat, and collonite 476S over here. So I'm just going to dump, I just got a container of water here, just going to dump it across the top. We can see how it reacts to everything. So right away, I can't tell if this is getting picked up on the camera, but I'll pick it up here in a sec. You can see a very clear line across the middle here where, this was a debating point the last time I did this experiment, was did this line in the panel here show where it was just more dirty or where the coatings had actually started to fail? So I'm going to do another pass here. All right, so I'll grab the camera now so you can see what I'm seeing. And hopefully I can get the lighting right here. So right here, I think the camera's picking this up. You can see a pretty clear line where the water is definitely clinging on more. Again, you see the line forming right in the middle of the panel here. So it'll be interesting to see if we can see that same kind of performance in the panel when I clean it, and see if the top part of the panel above the line is essentially maintaining its properties and the bottom is not. But there's a very clear line across the whole panel, at least just dumping the water on it like that. All right, so now I'll move on to the back section and do the exact same thing, which I would guess just off this is going to look very similar. So on the back here we had a control section with nothing on it. This was Chemical Guys Hydro Slick, Hydro Ceramic Wax, and this was Turtle Wax new ceramic spray coating. So one thing I can know is the control is not sheeting water at all across the top. It's still holding on all the way up here, where at least in the other 2 sections it's sheeted from there. But again, there's still a very clear line here. In the control, it goes much higher as to where it's either dirty or the products have failed here. But I'll pick up the camera so I can show you what I'm seeing again. Looks just like the other section. So you can see the line right there. And the control is definitely with nothing on it. So the line's up here. And then if I go over to the Chemical Guys, right, it's significantly lower. So you can see right here where it seems the control is higher up. Now, if this was just dirt contaminants, I would expect that would stay more on the areas that are coated too. So that this line is higher up here is a really interesting point in the control, being that there's nothing here. So why would the line be higher up here than here, unless maybe we could say the dirt's washing off of here better. So that line again is all the way across. So across this whole panel, oh, there you can really see it in the camera. There's a line about midway up where you can see the water is still clinging to the bottom. So what I'm going to do next is give it a proper washing, and then we'll see how the water still either beads or sheets off of everything. All right, so I've just got a bucket of Pinnacle Bodyworks shampoo here, some warm water, and a couple of Chanel wash mitts. So I'm just going to run them down the panel here. And I got two different mitts here to try and not drag contaminants as much as possible and try and get the best clean. All right, so now I'm going to rinse it off with some water and then dry it off. So now that it's been cleaned, we'll also can see something interesting happening on this side here. The control panel has this water line still across the top here. Chemical Guys is slowly sheeting away down here, but there's no water here left on the turtle wax ceramic spray. This is all completely sheeted off. And if I look over to this section here, it looks like the majority of the water across the entire panel, maybe a little bit higher over here, has all sheeted off too. So the control is definitely got a lot more staying on up here. There's a line right here across the whole panel where I can see that it still remains. That's still dirt and grime on there. All right, I need to wash that again. I'm gonna go across the other side as well, just to make sure. Don't want any contaminants here. Now I'll rinse it off again, and I'm also gonna then dry it all off with a microfiber so we get a completely clean surface to do the same test with. So really interesting, again, when I put the water on it, the ceramic here is still clearly, turtle wax spray is still clearly sheeting really well, even across the bottom here. Chemical Guys is not doing so great on the middle to bottom part. Let's see if I got rid of that line on the middle of the panel here. Yeah, so this is still sheeting away really fast. You can see how quickly that's gone. And over here too, the McKee's is gone. Now this is still pretty slowly sheeting away here. So even before I dry this off and do the test again, I think it's pretty obvious from the water I'm just pouring on it here that I can see where the control obviously was not sheeting from almost the entirety of the panel very well. Chemical Guys is in the middle. Turtle wax is still sheeting pretty well. Collonite, fusso, McKee's Hydro Blue, all of these were still doing a pretty good job. And even the C2V3, this is where it's obviously going to be hammered the most, so I wouldn't be surprised if this might have failed a little sooner, but really interesting results. So I'm going to dry it off here and then we'll see what we can see after that. This spring I'll do a full correction. I got a lot of other tests planned on this truck, being it's my work vehicle, not my nice car. All right, and one last wipe across everything. All right, let me get the bucket of soap out of here. So I'm going to grab the camera here and just show you the surface. You can see everything's nice and shiny and clean now. Everything's been washed and dried off, and we're going to repeat the same experiments and see what hydrophobic properties remain. All right, so everything's clean. Got some more water here. Going to do the same test, and I'll probably pick the camera up here too in a second. Make sure I get it on camera so you can see what I'm seeing with the hydrophobic properties. I know it can be kind of hard to pick up. So I'm going to try and do one section here. So the C2V3, still can tell it's sheeting away pretty good up top here. A little bit slower in the bottom section here, especially on the front. Again, this is where it's getting hammered by all the stuff coming off the front wheel. But that line is definitely not in the panel before, but it is sheeting slowly across the bottom here. So next I'm going to do the McKee's Hydro Blue. So very, very quickly sheeting away. All the water's gone now already. So I would say it's definitely still working. Very fast sheeting. I'll do it again here. So again, sheeting right off, and there's nothing left. I'll see what the bottom is doing here. Again, the bottom's still sheeting really quick too. So now I'll move on to the fusso over here. Again, sheeting extremely quickly, coming right off, and do one just for the bottom here. And I'm seeing pretty much the same thing, again, sheeting away very quickly. So do the collonite. Maybe a little bit slower than the fusso. Still sheeting away all right, but I wouldn't say as fast. So everything here really looks like it's still working, with the exception of maybe the C2V3 up here is failed on this section. It's pretty slow. So I'm going to do one dump across the whole thing here. If I can stop smacking the panel. So sheeting away really quickly over here. I'd say the main part of the panel here is still doing really well, sheeting away. Definitely not seeing what I was, if you remember the last experiment I did, where stuff was clinging across the majority of the panel and really taking its time to get off. And so next I'll move over here and show the other panels, but we'll get to see the control too, and then we'll really have something to compare these against. All right, so we got the control, the chemical guys, and the turtle wax here. So look at how slow this is coming off of here. Really taking its time. It's still covering the most of the panel section. Still hanging on. So this is definitely what it looks like when none of the protection is there. It's cleaned, so it still sheets away water, right? If you know, a clean panel is still going to sheet water, but very, very slow to remove. So do the chemical guys here. So you can see how much faster this top part is moving now. There's nothing on the bottom. And just a second here, we're going to be almost completely gone. There we go. So again, you can see how much faster, if the camera's capturing this shrinking here, sheeting right off versus where we're still cleaning on the control section. I'll move over here to the turtle wax. And pretty much the same thing, very quickly sheeting off of here. So one more, I'll do the control so you can see what it looks like when there's nothing there. Especially still taking its time with this whole section. And eventually it's gone. All right, so I picked up the camera to do this again, just to make sure everyone can see what I'm seeing here. So you can see how fast the middle of the panel is sheeting away all the water. All of it's already completely gone. So the fusso and the collonite here are holding up really well. You can see how fast it's sheeting off. The bottom's definitely a little bit slower, maybe starting to fail a little bit. But if you remember the last time, we were in the middle of the panel and stuff was still clinging really badly. So I'm really pleased to find something that's finally actually working, which after the reviews I got from people saying how good this stuff was, right? You can see it come right off. So really happy that's still working. And the Gtechniq C2V3 and the McKee's Hydro Blue, really impressed with these. I mean, they were the best, or what I thought might have been the best from the last experiment. And especially the McKee's is still holding up really well. And I don't blame the Gtechniq for failing a little bit at the front here. But those are holding up great. Let me grab one more bottle and do the back section here again. So again, do the control against the Chemical Guys ceramic. You can see the Chemical Guys is about gone when we still have the control hang on there. So the Chemical Guys definitely not sheeting away as fast as the fusso coat or the collonite. Try and get the angle here so you can see. It's still sheeting away faster than the control, but really not by a whole lot. So that one's starting to fade. And I'll do the turtle wax here. This one's still doing pretty good. You can see how quickly that's coming off. So right now, I'd say that the Chemical Guys is definitely looking the most worn out, or maybe sheeting the slowest as compared to something like fusso or collonite. But it looks like it's definitely still there, at least compared to the control. So overall, doing pretty well. So to wrap this up here, I'm really actually very pleased with everything that I've seen so far. This is going much better than the last experiment. And I'm following the exact same procedure I did last time, but I think the stuff that we're using is holding up way better, and we're seeing a lot better results. And I'll put on screen now some of the stuff from the initial application and the water repellency, and you can see how effective they were to start with. And they're either equivalent or still very similar, and you can obviously tell that everything is still here. So I'm really happy that we found something that's actually working like I would hope to for something I would put on my car for winter protection. So everything's still holding up except the Chemical Guys is maybe starting to fail a little bit. But the collonite, the fusso, the McKee's Hydro Blue, the Gtechniq C2 and the turtle wax are still going strong. And it's really great to see that those spray-on things that you just spray on, wipe off are still holding up really well. And that the waxes are obviously doing really well. Those are, I'm sure, adhered as strong as you can get. So what I'm going to do from now is just wait another month. Hopefully we'll continue to get snow and salt, and I'll just redo the same thing again and see how long these can keep going for. So thanks for watching. Thanks for following along. If you have any other comments or questions or want to see something different, just let me know in the comments below. I've already gotten some more suggestions for things I might try for another experiment. And make sure to subscribe to the channel so you can see updates as I do this test and many others. I got a lot of stuff planned going forward. So thanks for watching.